be in Miami, or Diego, or Malibu, or something, right? All right, we got 4 presentations today. Everybody ready? Coming back? Good to go? Try your best. Get your 3D objects. All right. I'll lecture a little bit, kind of break it up, right? So, lecture one group will go off to the group, all right? Kind of repeat that process. Give me some time to get it together. All right, we left off with integrated marketing communication. We say, hey, we use different mediums to convey the message. Usually we want to keep messages uniform, right? We don't want to confuse our customer. If we're making a campaign, the slogan, the message should be spread out on the internet, email, direct mail, billboards. Right? We said we can craft different types of messages. We've used slogans, and then you can convey some sort of meaning. Either we have a different types of appeal. We say, hey, with this campaign, we are using strictly humor. Why? Like, well, we want it to be memorable. We're going with the trend. This is funny right now. And people will memorize it. Oh, and then you might share it. Maybe they might do a rendition of this humorous campaign that we put out. Like, it's all good for business, right? We can create call to action. Okay? This is an action to do. You should do this dance on TikTok because of this product or campaign that we have. Right? You should do this or that. Sense of urgency. Buy now, right? You got one week left. There's only limited supply. We got different appeals of even logic. Oh, you should buy this product because you have these needs, right? It makes sense. It's a logical thing in comparison to all the alternatives out there. We can have, think about even with some of your sort of presentations, you can have moral appeal, right? Think moral appeal. Hey, don't you want to save the environment? Aren't you a good person that likes social responsibility and sustainability? Right? You should do this. You should support us. You should give us some money, buy our stuff, send us, donate some. Right? You should do this, bless you. Right? So we can have all sorts of appeals that we can come up with. Right? So moral, emotional, right? We cause fear. Right? Think about with COVID. There's a lot of products that were sold because of fear. Right? The work. And billions and billions of dollars for a lot of companies. And you can create some sense of anxiety, right? Some sense of anything that you think emotional. Or you can have a lot of it. It just makes sense to buy what we offer. Right? So we say the messaging is important. Words important. Even the logos. Did you merge 2 words together? They have a double meaning. Did you make up a word, a generic word? And so is the generic word meaning. Right? Takes a lot. It's not as easy as you would think. So we'll look at some SMART goal analysis, the ethics component, and some other sort of facets of integrated marketing. All right, so we look at messaging. All right, so we said we're trying to convey the same message across different forms of the promotional mix. Important because all consumers are different, they receive information differently. It's vital for marketers to consistently send the same message through various sort of mediums or platforms. Why we do this? Better results, right? Integrated marketing, communications yield better results than non-integrated marketing, right? You have different messages all over the place. probably can't even measure. It doesn't make sense, right? Or more difficult to measure because you have too many different messages out there. You confuse people. Increased efficiency, reduces waste, it increases productivity. Right, if you keep the same sort of branding, logo, messaging, meanings out there, probably your vendors who make all of these things, probably cost you a lot less than trying to craft up unique, different messages. Improve brand awareness, right? We say repetition, expose the logo everywhere, put it everywhere. Right? Repetition matters because we need repetition for it to go into long-term memory storage as a human being, right? If not, you have short-term memory and it will be forgotten. Right? So send it, same message using same mediums. Customer becomes more aware and the brand more recognizable. Now, repeated success, the metrics used across the campaign measure the objectives and different execution strategies. So if you use the same message across different mediums, you can come back and say, hey, we looked at the data, I think we have more love on social media than we do with our email campaign, right? Or our phone campaign, calling people or text messaging or something, or with billboards. We say, hey, the impressions from the billboards didn't work as well as it did with using apps or something to that degree, or our website, right? And then you say, hey, put less money towards that and put more money towards workers. Right? Customer satisfaction, the combination of connection and education delivered by IMC leads to increased customer satisfaction, right? So you get the feedback. People buy it or they don't. People are appealed by it or they do not appeal. People act on it or they do not act on it. And if they act on it, you may observe some sort of customer trends or behaviors, and you go like, hey, people really are satisfied with this, but this part of sort of our product or whatever, people can improve. First question as a group. Hey, consider some brands like Nike, Starbucks, and Ford. Right? We always kind of use these. How many ways can you find that they convey their message? Do they use integrated marketing communications? Is that on a better note? Right? Kind of everybody comes up with the same answer. Think of a company that you know that uses really good integrated marketing. Meaning that they send their messages out different, all sorts of different ways. Right? You notice, like, man, I see them everywhere. Right? Billboards, social media, emails, yada, yada, yada. So think of maybe a company and discuss that, how they convey those messages. I'll give you about 3 minutes with your groups to discuss. question. Do you think this university does a really good job with its marketing? Does it have good items? Do you think? The marketing is strong for the university? Is the marketing weak? So what do we need it? What do you think? Yes.
I think like from like the athletic side they do a good job, like Joyce is like videos and stuff out, like music or something. I feel like from the school part, I feel like at least like as a student, I mean they'll send us like 20 emails a day about different events or opportunities. But I feel like they're like almost just like oversaturating us with all this stuff from thousands of people. You're not, so I'm not gonna look at it, and, you know, it doesn't really catch your attention, and it's not like checking, you know, like that often as a student.
Okay, well, what I'm hearing is like, hey, they send too much random stuff, it doesn't really seem too coordinated, right? And second of all, it seems dry. There's nothing unique in the message to make me want to open an email, click on it. I can see some random dry event going on, you're like, yeah, whatever. Right? See, like even the school can be like, get a little bit more creative, right? Because you're young individuals, you're not gonna respond to something dry. I might, right? Like, oh, okay, look at the content, let's see the context of this. But for you, you're like, yeah, whatever. Right? Unless it's maybe something exciting, like a sports related thing, playing a theatrical thing, something of the sort, but that's not gonna get your attention, right? Because it's not a crafty message, tagline on an email or something like that. Right, they can get creative, put like crazy headlines or something, right? Something funny, connected with social media to engage the students more if they want them to interact more with the events and things going on around the university. Anyone else has a opinion? Okay, what are your thoughts about it?
You said that like with brands like Ford, they took like a bit more of like a traditional approach to commercials and stuff, just like the pricing as well. But yeah, with Starbucks, and I really was like you got like they have their cups. Like personally, I don't really see much stuff for like Starbucks. I mean, I guess they'll have like their traditional commercials and stuff, but one thing that really stood out to me is just like, and it's easy to like for someone to like be in class and just have like a Starbucks drink, and that in itself is like marketing, because like it's easy to like share and like see other people are using that brand.
Okay, so you're like, hey, Starbucks is more word of mouth, right? Starbucks thinks it has such a strong identity that the cups will make people identify the brand, we'll see other people drinking it, it might incline us to go buy our own Starbucks, but it doesn't need to have commercials. Starbucks don't need commercials, right? Starbucks don't need all these different things. It probably do need something on the app. I could say Starbucks app could be better. To me, it would never go to like that great, other than your rewards or something. I know that you could promote it. And with Ford, you're saying they're just using more classical traditional marketing, commercials, things like that. All right, what about here?
You said, well, you were specifically talking about like how Ford uses like AI like commercials to make it the cars. But
You know how like in the video they show like the trucks and the stuff driving through the mountain, and at the end there's like no drivers at home, it's AI generated.
Yeah.
They try to make like Ford is not a problem, but they try to make their vehicle sound a little better than they actually are.
Yeah, you're like, hey, Ford's like, one, let's eliminate this huge marketing budget, putting a truck in mountains of Utah or something like that. Two, let's exaggerate what maybe the truck can actually do, because we'll use AI, it's kind of deceptive in some way, right? Three, it doesn't matter, as long as it sticks and the customer believes it might do it might apply them to buy it, right? I would say it's not about what's real, it's about the idea, perception. that you haven't done?
Yeah, so we found a different company, because it was like kind of big that we talked about, was Coca-Cola. So we talked about not only you have like your commercials or your Super Bowl ads, but you also have like what they did with the personalized bottles, like with the name, I forget what the promotion was called.
Yeah.
But that was a win, that was like super unique for them to have just people talking about their product, sharing it on social media. And then I want like the athletes and the partnerships they have, like I think the one Olympics, they were big. LeBron James was on there, Taylor Swift. So like big athletes who are in the commercials, promoting their products, and then also just the people enjoying it and like spreading it.
Gotcha. All right, so they say, hey, look, Coke uses celebrity sponsors, it uses really large scale events to promote. Probably doesn't have that interest in small events, because that's not what they're about. And it uses, like the Coke ID situation, kind of creative marketing. Slap a multitude of names on there, search what's the most common names. You'll find that, these people buy Coca-Cola, and they're gonna feel special, right? You're gonna look through the Coke to see if you can find your name. You're making people act, and actually do something, you act with, right, blush. And it works, right? And we say to make people act, makes them think more about the product, right? People talk more about it, which is good. What about here?
We also did a program in Sephora. So basically, like all like their apps, their website, their like stores, and all like different promotions they have and kind of target people. And then they have like collab with different celebrities that are either like in the makeup industry or like just in general, and then like, they have like showcase somewhere in the store. And they also use like TikTok to like promote their brand. I know it's been like huge, I think, like skincare on TikTok. And then Sephora gets even more revenue from it. And it's using different things. And also they have like billboards over like the cities, like here in Chicago they have it. Or I haven't seen a commercial, but I'm guessing one be coming out soon since they've gotten so big. I know they have like different like just commercial advertisements like this.
All right, so like, hey, Sephora's a retailer. In that retail environment, it carries all sorts of makeup manufacturers, producers, brands, right? Gucci, cologne, perfume, high-end things. So it has an advantage to where it can also incorporate different sort of brands within its own advertising. It uses social media influencers, right? You talked about stuff, and it promotes kind of everywhere that they think is visible. In areas, okay, in the back.
We said Old Spice because of their like numerous ads they have, like the horse and the dude, and then we just said like how like when they like keep posting those viral ads, it's like very iconic. So it's around social media a lot, and then so they really don't really push effort on like creating like their ads and stuff, but one or a couple ads with celebrities is iconic enough to get the audience attention or teenage boys to get Old Spice and everything like that.
Old Spice, you push the boundaries in there. So sometimes they very absurd things, but we know absurdity sticks in our mind. It pushes exaggerated things or some sense of humor that could be like go viral on social media. Okay, great. All right, let's have our next group come up. How about here?
nonprofit, it's supposed to be more like accessible, but, like, to be fair, like, we are a nonprofit, and the way we would make, like, they have the resources to train kids at a high level, and there is like a big, like, want for the athletes who are willing to pay this amount to, get these sessions. There's only like one, like, pro level coach who's running the whole thing, so he's limited on people, or limited on coaches, so it's more of like a first come, first served basis. The price is only $12.
For Place, it's on social media, it's spread through volleyball tournaments and clubs, and then the whole volleyball review, like high school athletes and college athletes.
And then for promotion, obviously there's like social media, so posting on platforms like Instagram, creating content catered towards athletes in the volleyball community. So, like, I'll pull it up. This is the love of Instagram. Recently hit 6K. I help run the page, but if you can, like, I'll scroll down for a bit. Like, all the content is just the coaches coaching, the players being at like training sessions, stuff like that. Like recently, this is her, she's the pro coach. She went out to India and helped create more access there by learning to the school. And I think there's like a practice and stuff. But yeah, a lot of it's just catered towards, like, we have a lot of reels because we just cater it a lot more towards like the kids in the volleyball community, and like sometimes it'll just be like a bunch of like highlight clips, which brings a lot of like good attention to the program. But yeah, and then as for merch sales, like as you can see, like a lot of the kids are wearing merch, and they'll wear those to their schools, they'll wear those to the clubs, and like the big tournaments and stuff. So yeah.
3D print, is volleyball, which obviously represents spring pretty well, so we're trying to spread. And it also represents our goal as a marketing team. We want to grow the brand, and we want, when people see a volleyball, we want them to think of it like that. So we kind of represents our goal as a brand and brand.
So the program is not for everybody, right? Because the price is pretty steep. There's people who are serious about volleyball, want to be coached by the best, obviously. But then you give the option of, if there's a group, $60 per person. So that makes it reasonable instead of the world.
Yeah, it's not like exclusive, like the price is not necessarily set. It's like a process where like you either text them individually or you call them, and then it'll be like after you text or call them like past 10 times, so like consider it, these phones will work.
All right, which is good. And we said, call to action, you can just offer a price and that's it, that's the transaction, or you say, hey, here's the price, but there's an alternative if you do see stuff, right? And text, communicate, maybe we'll give you some of the scholarship money, right? And then once again, like, hey, that builds motivation, because now people feel like they got a deal, or they got some free money, they got positive reinforcement. And then the free, once again, word of mouth marketing is also true self-marketing. We're wearing a merch, we feel part of a community, right? We feel competitive and motivated, participated, maybe we can go to these other places around the world. So, yeah, those are all really good, I think, communications, to kind of get those to people. All right, excellent, good job. Yeah, there was some IMC in there too, right? Like, hey, the social media aspect, our website aspect, right? You could go either buy, you could go just a few things. You want to see? know, the more successful the campaign will be, so we need to know who's our target market. We want to be very specific about that, so we can develop the right strategy and communication, right? Depending on who our target market is, we have to appeal to them, right? It could be an ethnic identity, it could be a different cultural identity to some degree, it could be an age group, right? We need to speak the language of that age group. We need to convey a message that's understood within that cultural identity, right? Or any cultural identity, it could be Africans, right? So we want to identify target market, determine the communication objectives, what are we trying to achieve here, design the message, right, the creative part, create the message content, determine the budget, how much will this cost to put this message out in this medium that we're choosing, right, develop the strategic tactics, even if you do say, hey, I want to put flyers and billboards on the CTA train. Like, well, do people want to train to look up at the ceiling? Do people want to train how's the train design? How's the environment? Right? We go somebody in test. We put it on the side of the train, on the side of the bus, on the inside of the bus, on the expressway. Should we go digital on the expressway or traditional? Right? So you have to kind of think about all these different things and how it's going to affect the budget. Right? That stuff all costs money, but they may all be more effective versus the other. And then you select your promotional tools. Next, we got the 5A framework, right? A map of customers' needs, kind of the process that we want customers to go with. Kind of almost like an inverted Maslow's hierarchy. Right, so we got awareness at the top. Awareness is the biggest. Right? You don't know it exists, you will not buy it. Right? Appeal will be next. You need to be stimulated. You see that it exists, but are you stimulated to know more about it? Right? Ask. Maybe you want more information. You got to get the information. You're an actor. Right? Next will be act. And last will be advocate. We want free marketers. People talk about it, share them on social media, wear the merch, right? We want people to do all of the advocacy. All right, so yes, awareness, we need people to know that it exists. Appeal, we need people to understand the benefits the product has, how it can appeal or solve a problem, why they should choose it over the competition. Ads, right? Customer might seek out additional information about the company, product, or service. Thus, they will need a clear channel of communication, right? Such as a website, such as a social media page, a phone number to call, a retail store to go to with an address, right? You need to know. And then next, act. Either by purchasing or not purchasing. Right? Either way, it's important for the marketing department to evaluate what they can do differently, whether to modify the message, right? So you either have unsuccessful campaigns and you have successful campaigns. If they're unsuccessful, you go back to the drawing board, or you might get fired. Right? You wasted $50 million of that budget, which is a dumb idea of putting it all on the inside of CTA Plus, and those people running CTA Plus don't have enough money to buy what they sell. Right? Yeah, lost us money. Good going. Or it's successful, right? Whoa, you made us in sales with the convergency through the metrics. You made us $75 extra million from that awesome creative campaign. Like, who would have ever thought to put it on TikTok Shop? Right? And then advocate. Right? Customer becomes a loyal one. We say we make the most money from repeat customers, not new customers who show up one time and roll in. We don't make the most money. We make it from people who are loyal, who will defend the product, defend the brand, right? Advocate. This creates a lifetime value for the company. When we say I bought every single iPhone. Was it? I think I stopped. I think I still got the 14 or something. Right? I stopped with that. The reason why I stopped, I'm like, something happened with Apple. I think Huawei has even captured some of Apple's market recently. Who's familiar with Huawei phones, smartphones? Huawei. trifold phone, sold out at pretty reasonably priced, pretty good looking phone, right? Pretty popular. Even Zimbabwe is taking a little bit of Apple's market share, right? So they're creeping up. If you haven't heard about Huawei, you will probably very soon. Right? So it goes to show, hey, Apple's kind of losing its edge. Right? All first 14, by 15 or 16. Yeah. Means not as important as it once used to be. So yeah, we want to create lifetime value for the company. But we've all bought a ton of Apple products, so they probably get $30,000 from all of us over the course of a lifetime, potentially. For me, I know. Okay, and then we'll come back to appeal. All right, next group. Well, who went on Tuesday? All right, which group? Yeah, you guys went on Tuesday. Let's go here.
So the business that we're doing is Mercury Sports Club. This is a marketing plan overview. Just as a review from last presentation, our goals for marketing are to increase brand awareness, boost membership and program enrollment, enhance customer engagement, expand partnerships, and just improve retention and brand loyalty. Our target consumers are local schools and teams that already practice there, and parents and people looking for individualized coaching.
Some product and services with the loyalty program, which the target market would be parents and coaches of the athletes, with the goal to boost revenue and attendance at the facility. It'll be two-tier membership, just the basic entry level, and we have a point system, where you'll be able to earn points and be able to benefits. Some of the benefits would be like getting free classes, workouts, sessions, some merchandise from the facility, and then like maybe like a Gatorade or snacks or whatever. And then you can gain these points by attending these practices, sessions, camps, and then like referring people to the.
For our second P, we have price. So what we touched on a little bit is like we have kind of like a tiered system. So you have your basic level, which you kind of just, you rack up like a little bit of points here and there. But with our advanced level, it's kind of like you can just like unlock more. It's like the better version, whatever you want to call it. It's like the plus or the premium. So that would give you like either like early access for like registration time. So like a week in advance, you can get your Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can get your reserve a cage instead of just having to, call or try and get in the day before. You have like something like that you're thinking about. Discounts as well, and then new equipment, working with like Rollins and DeMarie, having the opportunity to work with them. They can bring in new equipment, and have deals through the facility as well.
And then the place, obviously, is at Victory Sports Club, which is located at the park, and all the awards and that's the invitation to the
Some of the marketing that we came up with were social media posts, whether it's creating a social media platform and posting some like the best work, or like any building innovations that they did, like add-ons, like new equipment that they did. Another would be billboards, buying billboards outside of like the local area to like expand to different people, new people instead of the guys or baseball guys in like the area. You can buy radio promotions, and you can get the word out through other people.
So this is an example of kind of what our marketing strategy so far has come down to. So you have like loyalty cards, just something that can go in your wallet, obviously durable plastic. And then our 3D printed objects, we made a coaster. So what's unique about this is there's a bar next door, like on the block in the chain, Madison. So this is something that we were actually able to talk with them about, and they've already talked to this bar. So they had, I forget exactly what it was.
So it's just a coaster, and they were thinking about putting a logo on the coaster. We just spoke about them, they're gonna bring in, you go to the bar, bring your seat into the Victor Sports Bar, get like 10% off like a session or a can, something like that.
So that was kind of a unique method that kind of touched on what we brought, but what they were already kind of in the works with. So, you know, pass it around. Obviously, we can't like put a custom logo on it, but you can imagine in the middle or something, we can get a image, logo, name, picture, or anything. It'll, you know, save your desk or anything from. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, excellent. You guys, good job. Have you considered like reaching out to Chicago White Sox, Cubs to see if, you know, maybe, or just considering, like, looking to see if they have like advertising opportunities during the game, you know, they make the announcements. 20% off. You go to Victory Sports Club and mention Chicago. Maybe something to think about. As you move along in your plan. Okay, great. Okay. Let's just go back there. All right, designing the message. The important message that urges the customers to purchase. Like I said earlier, you can have rational, emotional, or moral appeals. With rational appeals, encourage the customer to purchase based on the benefits. So we're just talking about the benefits. What's so great about the product or the service in relation to their needs. You can have emotional appeals. Use fear, happiness, sadness, trust, anger, frustration, guilt, any of that to spur the consumer to purchase. Or moral appeals. Use morality or the social good as the basis for purchasing. Let me ask you really quick. Hey, what is a brand or company, product, service that you could think of that use either emotional or moral appeals? Yes.
There's a lot of car companies now that are like involved in pets, like dogs. Not sure why. I do know Budweiser though, they had like their Clydesdale, and then there was one ad that had a dog, and they had the dog, and like they wasn't very good together, and the dog got like sick. So that kind of, and they had this much for you, that's very popular. So.
That's awesome, right? Think about it. People crazy about their pets, crazy about your dogs, and your cats, right? And, you know, if you're a rare person who can own a horse, or even close to a horse, you might hear about that. But yes, use them. We already know, going on social media, if you put a video with a cat or a dog, it'll get a lot of views, a lot of likes. If you put a story, a sad story with a cat or dog, people will watch the video longer than they would if it wasn't a cat or dog in the video. Right? So it's already tried and true to show that integrate a cat or dog, throw a storyline of that cat or dog as a pet, and people will eat it up. Right? People will watch and have some sort of emotional appeal. If you think of a moral appeal from a brand, company, service, product, where you feel like they try to use your morality in order to influence you to do something or buy something. Social good. Anyone ever bought Tom's shoes? No, right, so they kind of, there's a shoemaker and, you know, whatever shoe you buy, they donate some money for a certain cause or something that's better, right? Like, that's kind of a moral appeal, because you feel like, yeah, not only did I buy myself a good looking pair of shoes, it's decent quality, it might be a little pricey, but my extra money is going to help some random person who needs money. Solve two problems in one, needed some shoes and I can help. Create the message content. Factors to consider include the stage of the customer journey, right? We say there is a journey as a customer. First you see the thing, then you pay attention to it, you give it more time, then you may go check out a website, social media, or something, maybe sign up, you log in, you search for a promo code if they offer one. You know, like this is a whole process. Storyline. You do want to create great stories. Right? The less things you have people do, kind of almost, it can backfire, right? Because you're quickly forgotten. But if you put in a lot of time signing up, logging in, hey, here's a promo code, type it in the promo code, check out our Instagram or Snapchat, and you start to really get immersed into the product, the more energy and the more you'll remember that thing, right? So you like, well, you do want to have a journey. The products and features and benefits, the media, the segmentation basis of the customers. The message structure, right? Slogans, graphics, and words, right? You use Coca-Cola, right? You use some of the same consonants and vowels and phonetics, right? So that it's memorable. You can make a fictitious word, Kool-Aid, right? The hyphen in it. You have to come up with something that's memorable and stands out, but more so represents something. Kool-Aid makes me think of flavors, grape, red flavored, sweet drink or something. Immediately makes me think of that, right? Or the Hey Kool-Aid picture here, something. We also say you can also create inanimate objects or people and then try to give them a personality. Uncle Ben's, Betty Crocker, right? You can make up a character for your brand, and then you try to give that character personality. Chester Cheeto guy, right? Toucan Sam, right? You can think of anything where you're like, hey, people gonna follow the journey of this character. Now this character can have a story. We put him in a commercial and you got a whole kind of cartoonish little sketch about his journey. People will become involved or immersed in that degree. And then the message format just typically depends on the media being used, right? Everything has restrictions, limitations, right? You can't put the same sort of fonts and stuff on the smartphone version of the website versus your full-scale website. Can't put the same stuff that looks the same, feels the same on TikTok versus, say, Facebook, right? This won't be the same. Right? So the message format depends on the media being used. Okay. All right, we got our next group. Let's do there.
That's a real good.
Good afternoon, everyone. We will be talking about the city policy requirements.
Okay, so for the first two for our promotional mix, we have advertising. So we said we could do social media interaction with aesthetically pleasing material, regional collaboration, and focused internet marketing to connect with local sushi lovers. And for personal selling, we said to determine its worth, make sure it's in good shape, and then promote it successfully using internet resources or a company.
Yeah, I gotta check that place out, I still haven't been there. Any of you, eaten at the sushi house in Oak Park? No? All right. Questions? Budget's one of the most important things. It's not like you have unlimited money to do all these fancy ideas. You have to remain within the budget and try to create objectives and tasks that kind of fit within that budget, right? Objectives and tasks, the marketer determines the objectives of the IMC campaign and what tasks need to be done to complete the services. Typically what happens is you come up with the idea, you come up with a marketing campaign, a plan, you determine how much it's gonna cost. And usually you work it, you send it over to the finance department. The finance department will determine if it has enough money to complete that. If it doesn't, then you probably have to shave off some of those ideas and maybe focus just on one or two of them to some degree, right? But if you're Coca-Cola or McDonald's or something, you have a limited amount of money, pretty much you could come up with anything creative. The tasks are priced and the level of reach, number of customers who will see the message, right? So you want to have a projected sort of idea of how many people you think you could reach. Put a billboard on the 290 or the 90 or 294, how many cars pass by a day, et cetera, et cetera. Right? You want to have a good idea of the number, the frequency, the number of people who will see it. Top down, budget is issued based on the operations budget, so you can already just be given a budget, right? So you say, hey, you have $10 million in a budget for this year for marketing. What can you come up with that $10 million? Right? You may not want to use it all. You may go, well, something creative is only going to be $2 million. Okay, save the rest for either another campaign or next year or next quarter. A percent of sales. A percent of sales approach attributes sales to all the functions of marketing, right? So you want to measure the percent of sales from these functions, right? How much did it increase from last quarter based on this new campaign you implemented? Increase or decrease? Decrease, it was failure, increase, success, right? And by what degree? Affordable, the marketing budget is allocated based on what the company can afford, right? We say there may not be unlimited funds. This method does not take into consideration the need to meet the objectives. So you can have all sorts of objectives, but you just may not have the money to do all these objectives, so you're limited. Competitive parity, money is allocated to mirror what the closest competitor is spending. So we may think if we have a very close competitor, we're just going to match them in their marketing. They got a billboard, let's put up a billboard of ours. They got some new social media campaign, we probably should follow them up, right? They got this, and we're gonna kind of do the same thing that they do, just so we can keep up with them, right? All right, and then message strategy. Questions to ask. How can you tie the brand to the target audience? What will appeal to them? What action do you want them to take? Awareness, purchase, or visit the website? How does the brand positioning need to be portrayed compared to the competition? Or focus on how the product is different, points of difference. Right? That may be part of your strategy, just saying how we are different than the next competitor. Creative strategy. Translate the message into words, images, and sounds to capture the attention, or communication channel delivery mechanism, right? Guided by audience, message, and creative strategy. And then scheduling a promotion. We have reach, the number of customers who will be exposed to the promotion message at any given time, the frequency, the number of times the customer will be exposed to the message. Will customer be Wednesday, we'll push something out every Thursday. We want them to repeatedly see it in the middle of the week, or maybe on the weekends. We'll put it on the phone, put it on the billboard, they'll see it multiple times. Now, promotional schedule, so we can have continuous lighting or pulsing. With continuous, we're looking at the promotion that's on a regular schedule year-round, right? You buy commercial space on network television, Channel 7, Channel 5, and is already paid for, it has a schedule. It'll be viewed 7 p.m. Every Tuesday, right? At whatever TV show is being played at the time, right? Or program. They could be flighting. The marketer alternates a period of heavy promotions with a time without any promotional messaging. The idea is to give the target market a break and avoid potential burnout. Consumer might be tired of seeing the same old ad or hearing about it, so you give it some time and burst it out intermittently, right? Not continuously. And then pulsing. The sender promotes on a regular basis and then send blasts of messages during certain times. So you can have a continuous message, but let's say from time to time, you really bombard with multiple messages at a time. And then some KPIs, key performance indicators, right? If you, in the business world, you're gonna hear a lot about KPIs, right? We've always been talking about what is the key performance indicators. Those are the metrics, right? Things that we say that have some sort of arithmetic, things are measured. Return on investment, ROI, cost per lead. Right? How much does it cost to get these potential customers? Right? Think of your like door-to-door salesperson. Like how much does it cost to get a lead on a potential buyer? We may look at some sort of data sheet, data chart about potential customers based on age, home ownership, profession, et cetera, right? And you have to pay for that information. You may pay some sort of trade counsel for that information. Cost per sale. How much does it cost to actually sell? You're going to pay individuals, or there's a kiosk that people put themselves out there. Obviously, the kiosk is a machine too. It's to be paid for, right? So how much does the transaction itself? And then we get conversion and engagement, right? How much does it cost to convert into sales, right? Convert anonymous people into customers altogether. And then we get evaluating and measuring digital promotional campaigns, right? We get different type of analytics in real time. Website traffic. So if you go on your Instagram or whatever, you can see your website traffic. Like, oh, in the month of March, my website traffic on Instagram was not that great, right? Probably should push out some more content. Page views. Like, oh, people view it. It's pretty good. Bounce rate. Like, oh, people view that they don't go further to anymore. They come to the website and go immediately leave the website. They don't go look at the multiple pages on the website, right? They just come and go quickly. That's not good. That's a bounce rate, right? The conversion rate. Conversion, like, hey, they go and actually look at multiple things, and maybe even save stuff in their cart, and maybe make a purchase. And then the number of impressions is how many pages they saw, right? You have a lot of content, they have a lot of content on your web page. How much is the average person seeing of that content? Do you have too much stuff on your website that people don't see, don't care about, they never click on? Do you get that information? Right? And the cost per click, right? All this thing costs money, so think of even with search engine optimization, search engine marketing, it costs money to be on Google all the way at the top, right? And so you can measure that even by cost per click, like how many people are going to click on it versus what we're paying for this to get the top Google search, right? Okay, I'll leave this question, maybe if we got time after our next presentation. All right, so last group, ready to go?
We don't have ours printed yet. They will, those failed to print.
You don't have your what?
Our figurine printed yet.
Your 3D object?
Yeah.
It's not ready?
It's that it was failed to print.
Okay, well, come and present anyway without the 3D object. Did you have at least like a picture of it or something?
Yeah.
Off the website? It just shows what it is.
So our overview of our IFC journey and increase awareness and donation for YFC youth programs by leveraging a limited edition 3D printed secure figurine as a promotional tool. We chose this type of figurine because, you know, it's the majority of the nonprofit or people who go to nonprofit little kids. So we did this figurine so to attract more parents coming in. So promotion of mixed integration, advertising social media, expression determined as reward for donations. Example, donate $50 to receive this exclusive YC superior figurine. Local news coverage about the superheroes empowering the youth campaign, email campaigns with campaigns sorry, with